Another reason why we wanted to hop on and give you an update, we want to talk about the tropics. We are tracking the tropics. Earlier this evening, we were talking about Hurricane Erin, and it was a rare Category 5. Well, the latest update, this is as of 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Hurricane Erin is now a Category 4 storm. The winds dropped down 10 miles an hour or so, so now we're looking at 150 mile an hour winds. It's moving around the same pace, west at 15 miles an hour. Right now, it's 160 miles northwest of Anguilla. So still churning in the Atlantic. Here's a look at it from the satellite. You can see Category 4 storm. It is absolutely, we call it gorgeous because of how pretty it is. This is exactly what you see as a textbook hurricane, and we are seeing it right now, getting very close to Turks and Caicos. You can see there, Dominican Republic, San Juan, getting a lot of rainfall in that area as well. Still 150 miles an hour. Here's the thing. Yes, it's a Category 4 storm, but if we take a look at our tropical tracks, don't close that door on it just yet. It looks like we could be seeing it re-intensify once again to a Category 5 storm around Sunday afternoon. As of right now, it does say maybe Sunday at 2 p.m., something that we're keeping our eye on, but that could have us see some of those winds near 160 miles an hour once again. So the intensity not quite finished, still going on for Hurricane Erin. Then by Monday afternoon, it will get very close to Turks and Caicos. That will be a Category 4 storm, weaken just a little bit, and as it continues to push really northwest, still holding on to that Category 4 strength well into Tuesday. And then finally by Wednesday, it's a Category 3 storm as it continues to move northward. As of right now, still telling the same weather story for us. We're not anticipating it to make direct landfall anywhere, but tons of places will be having some impact. So here's what you need to know. As of right now, it is a Category 4 storm. Heavy rain for the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico expected on Sunday. Really in the next less than 48 hours, we're going to start to see some of that rainfall really impacting the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. Tropical storm conditions for Turks and Caicos are also expected in the next 48 hours. There's some watches and warnings out. We'll get to that in a second. And then there's some life-threatening rip currents for the east coast of the United States next week, thanks to this hurricane. And you can see why. Those winds are going to be very, very high all the way almost into midweek next week. So as we're tracking Hurricane Erin, this is a look at the spaghetti model plot. So this is what all of the hurricane models are saying they are anticipating it going. This is the latest with our spaghetti model plots. You can see there's only one that brings it back very close to the United States, very close to Florida there. All of the rest of them are keeping them well out into the sea. So that's good for us. Usually we feel a little bit better when we see all of the models starting to agree in the same area. Here's a look at some of those alerts that I was telling you about. There is a tropical storm watch, and that is in effect for Turks and Caicos. There's also a tropical storm warning. And as you can see, you're thinking, your computer must be off. No, it's not quite off, but it is for the Atlantic Ocean north of San Juan. So they did not actually issue that tropical storm warning for San Juan, but it's for the water around San Juan. So that's very important to note as well. And the tropical storm watches are in effect. Here's a look at the current wind gusts. We talk about 140 to 150 mile an hour winds, and at one point it was 160 mile an hour winds. That's very, very great. You can see how organized it is. It's pulling in a lot of water, has very high winds. And when we talk about the tropical winds, this is another thing that's going to be causing some of those very dangerous rip currents that we'll be seeing next week. If we put this into motion, this is on Monday. This is really the eye of the storm. You can see exactly how those winds are pulling in. And when we get closer to the United States and along the East Coast, really honing in on the Georgia coast, Carolina coast as well, even going up towards Virginia, the winds are going to be increasing. It's going to be pulling in some tropical moisture as well. But we're not going to be anticipating a direct hit per se. Now, this is on Thursday. Into the Carolinas, it gets very, very close on Thursday to seeing some pretty heavy rainfall at the very least, and those winds are going to be high as well. Another thing to watch on hurricanes is sometimes, especially along those outer bands, you can see some tornadoes start to develop. So that's another thing that we'll have to watch if you live in the Carolinas or you're traveling towards the Carolinas in the next few days. That's something that we'll have to keep our eye on as well. Let's talk about areas to watch. We are in peak hurricane season, and what we saw with Hurricane Erin is rapid intensification. Last night I went to sleep and I think it was a Category 2 storm. This morning woke up, it was a Category 4, then it intensified to a Category 5. Now it's another 4, but there's still a chance for it to intensify again. And during peak hurricane season, that's what makes these storms really dangerous. Some areas to watch. This is another look at our satellite of Hurricane Erin, but as we put this into motion, there is a 10% chance in the next 2 and 7 days that we could see another development that will be really close to the East Coast as well. 10%, nothing really to be too concerned about, but because it's hurricane season, any kind of small development is something that we'll have to keep our eye on, and we're going to continue to watch all of it in the next few days. But as of right now, this is the latest on Hurricane Erin. Right now, it is a Category 4 storm, and it is definitely causing some very high winds. Right now, it has 150-mile-an-hour winds, and we could be seeing that increased once again to 160. So we're going to be watching this storm. Right now, it is staying off the coast. We're not anticipating it to see direct landfall. However, places like Turks and Caicos, Virgin Islands, even Puerto Rico will have some pretty damaging flash flooding, maybe even some mudslides because of the way that those islands are set up. So something that we'll have to continue to watch. Not talking about direct impacts, but we definitely could be seeing some type of rain or even some really deadly rip currents across the east coast of the United States. So we're going to continue to watch this storm. It's a little bit too close to comfort for my liking, so I'm going to continue to watch it for sure throughout the next week. And we're going to keep our eye on what could develop in the next 2 to 7 days. And we'll bring you another update very, very shortly. But for now, I'm meteorologist Danielle Moss.